Hey everyone, it's Ashley, your independent Scentsy consultant. Welcome back to my channel. Apologies for the likely very dimly lit environment. But I just wanted to do this in a really cozy place, so I'm on the couch. I should have grabbed my cozy blanket, but whatever. I have my sweater on. It's like 8 p.m. It's obviously dark outside because it gets dark outside at like 4 now. But I just wanted this to be a really cozy video. Also, I just want to acknowledge, I know I said in a recent video that Corey and I were going to do a first sniffs of some scents that are coming out. And I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but we both got sick like right after Thanksgiving. So we haven't had the opportunity to film that video yet, which I'm really not upset about, but like I want to start melting those scents, but I want to post the video first. I almost filmed that instead just by myself, but I don't feel like my nose is like 100% right. So I'm gonna wait a little bit longer and hopefully I'll get Corey to do it with me. But obviously, probably the reason you clicked on this video is I wanted to talk about Scentsy Club today. And I think the main purpose of this video is just gonna be me walking through my thoughts on cutting out like 75% of the bars in my club, which sounds wild, but also some backstory. I feel like I've always had this thought or been having this thought, and recently it's like almost every single day recently I've been having it more and more, where I find myself melting something, or recently it's been like as I lay down into bed and I have like a warmer next to the bed, I just think about like, why am I not melting happy birthday? Which is such a very specific question. But I think where it stems from is I think about like my favorite scents or scents I have in my club that are my absolute favorites. For example, birthday wishes and happy birthday are probably the top two that come to mind when I have these types of thoughts. Because at heart, I am a bakery person. Like, I love so many scents now from being exposed to Scentsy and just like being exposed to so much variety of scents. But in my heart of hearts, like I still, a vanilla-based bakery scent, truly birthday cake, like that type of situation makes me the happiest. Like, it's still who I am in my core, even though I do like a variety of scents. So my question is like, why am I not melting this? Like, if it's my favorite scent, why do I feel like I'm not melting it? I hear other people talking about melting it, etc. And so I've kind of started to become overwhelmed by my wax stash, which is not a new phenomenon by any means. I know we all go through these phases, but I find myself going through and being like, okay, I like all these things, but do I love all these things? And I feel like that's kind of where I'm at with the point with my club is like, I like everything in there. That's why it's in there. But I don't like of them all maybe equally. Like, do I like some of these bars as much as I like happy birthday? So kind of as I've been thinking this through, I've been thinking about things like, okay, I like this scent, but would I choose it over apple cherry strudel, which is another scent I keep thinking about because I warmed it recently and I just remembered how much I freaking loved it. So some of those similar types of scents, I'm like, would I choose this over another one? Even though I like them both, that doesn't mean I'm like, which one am I really picking in the end? I hope this is making some sense on like where I'm coming from this. I don't want this to just be like, oh, I'm gonna axe a bunch of bars for my club just for no reason, like because it doesn't matter to me. Like, and I feel like I did this exercise and I feel like okay about it, but obviously I haven't clicked the buttons yet. And clicking the button is the hardest part if you're familiar with Scentsy Club. Like, actually clicking the first button to remove things is always the scariest, and then it seems to get easier from there. But that's kind of just like the theme here. So what I wanted to do is initially I was just trying to think like, well, what's my favorite bars? I'll just keep my favorite bars. Okay, that sounds way easier than it actually is. So I I tried to start by setting a goal for myself. So right now, I have 70 bars total in my club. To some of you, that might not sound like that much. And to some of you, you might be falling over on the floor. Granted, some of those bars are like transitional bars. Like I added them to my club just to try them out. They didn't have the intention of staying long term. Like a lot of the new releases, I didn't place a specific order for them. I just added them to my club. So not all 70 are meant to stay forever, but nonetheless, it's still 70. Like I paid for 70. I had a pokey in my pants and it was driving me crazy. Okay. So 70. My goal going into it, I just was trying to like set something artificial. Recently, I was watching Mr. Kong's mom do her Scentsy Club haul, and I think that's what kind of like pushed me over the edge. Even though I've watched many of her hauls before, so I know this is her concept, but she does this thing where she like sticks to 10 bars. In my head, I'm like, okay, I like that concept, but it never has seemed achievable. So like, whatever, I'm not even going to try. So I'm like, what's a more like personally achievable situation? So I'm thinking about like, I would love to be at like $100, let's say, with bars. Granted, if I have a whiff box in my club, if I have air purifier filters in my club, if I want to do a half price brick, like all that set aside, if I'm counting bars and I want to be around $100, I did some math and I feel like it's about 18-ish bars. So that was kind of where I started, was trying to like narrow in on what do I want to get to, because it obviously made it a lot easier when I was trying to go from 70 to 18. So what I did is when you go into Scentsy Club, obviously it's just like the full list of your bars. So I put them all into a spreadsheet. I'm kind of a spreadsheet gal if you're new here. So I literally I don't know if I can just show you here, but I just literally typed them all out into a spreadsheet, just right in this first column here. And basically I just wanted to see them all in one place without having to do the whole like scrolling with the pictures, worrying about clicking the wrong button, etc. And I obviously wanted to manipulate them. So I typed them all out. And that's how I knew there were 70. So I have the 70, and then I was like, holy cow, this list is so long. Like, it's 70 bars. Like it goes on, it's long. So I was like, how am I going to digest this? Like, I don't want to do this whole action. Like, how am I going to figure this out? So basically what I did is on this whole like right-hand side, kind of what I did here is, I don't know, this is the most logical thing I thought of to do next. So it might seem really random or it might seem like a good idea, but you could do whatever you want here. I broke them down by seasonality is what made sense to me. So I don't know why, but when I think fall is what really gets me, and then obviously going into the holidays, but like fall are some of the scents where I'm like, oh, but I can't live without that scent. You know what I mean? So naturally, I already had this kind of fall category in my head where I'm like, well, these are fall scents, but I really can't live without them. So I broke them down by season. Initially I had like this all year category, which kind of just shifted into like bakery, because honestly, a lot of them were bakery. So I just renamed it bakery. It's kind of like a hodgepodge of bakery and bakery adjacent things, but whatever. And then I had just a few scents that I really didn't know what to do with. I would in the past probably classify them as like bedroom, but I don't like to necessarily like only melt in the bedroom. So they're kind of almost like perfumey scents. I just didn't know where else to put them. They felt like year round and they would have fit in that category, but they weren't bakery, and I called it bakery. So whatever. I called it a perfume section. I didn't know what else to call it. And I know there's a better word probably, but I didn't care. I just wanted to put things in groups. So I split them all out into these groups, which was super helpful just to visually see, like, here's everything I'm working with for summer. What do I like here, etc. So because I knew I was trying to get to 18 and I had 70, I was like, where do I even begin? So probably my lowest hanging fruit, which I'm sure at this point in the year, you guys are tired of hearing that terminology. If you work a corporate job, I do apologize. But the easiest cuts, let's say that, my easiest cuts, or I wanted to start it with the easiest. I pulled some of the ones that I knew were on my like transitionary, like I added them to my club literally just to try. And I don't want this to be a sneak preview for what's to come, since I haven't technically reviewed some of these scents or given my first impressions. But some of the ones I put in my, like, I'm cutting these just based on cold impression. Goody Goody Gumdrop, Glazed Almond Dreams, Gingerbread Hugs, and the Fruit and Hazelnut Waffle Delight is from the Mickey Mouse, the Disney Signature Treats collection. Those 4 scents, I just, like, I knew, because I'm trying to get to 18, like they're not making the top 18 just off cold sniff. So I was like, you know what? I'm just marking these out before I even go through the hassle of being like, should I or should I not? Because I know they're not making the cut. So those, I still want to try those 4, and I'm not saying they couldn't be great, but will they be top 20 worthy for ease of it? Even number. But like, you know, are they in my top 10? Are they in my top 5? Probably not. So I just kicked them out right away. From there, because I knew, so I mean, at this point, I'm at 66. I'm doing so well. So from there, I knew I obviously needed to do a lot of work here. Bakery is my favorite category. So in my head, I'm like, I'm going to start with bakery to see what stands out of like things I really want. So let me maybe just like let me tell you the ones I pulled out as ones I think I like really wanted, and then we'll talk about the other ones. Maybe. I don't know how to like go through all of these to tell you what's staying and what's going, because these are all just my thoughts and things could obviously change. And that's why I'm making this video, because it's really helpful to hear other people's opinions. But this is a lot, I'm sorry. So I went through the bakery column, and let me just tell you the ones that kind of stood out to me that I'm like, I want to flag this as like, I really, really want it. And what I did, obviously I like all of these. So it was really hard, but I'm like, what's my tappity top? Like, what's the faves? So here's the list I started with. I have Birthday Wishes, Hazelnut Latte, Graham Cracker Crunch, Sugar Cookie, Happy Birthday, Apple Cherry Strudel, which I put in the bakery category, even though it probably could have been like a fall winter, but you could do it. To me, it's bakery, whatever. I really love it. Frosted Vanilla, Christmas Cookie, which is actually the new November scent of the month. I feel like I need to cough or do something. Just like suddenly I'm like, okay, now that I'm on film, I don't feel well. Okay. The November scent of the month, which is Christmas Cookie. And then I think I left it at that because I was like, I don't want to do too much. Is that like 7, 8? I think that's 8. So I was trying to give myself some buffer room. Like, I don't want to do too many in the bakery right away. I know I'll come back to them. So from there, like, I'm not doing well. Okay, from there, I was like, let me go into the seasonal things to see kind of like how I'm doing there. So for the spring category, which once again, these are all made up categories. It's not a huge deal, but anyway, from the spring section, I picked out Sparkling Magnolia and Starburst Sky as my like top 2. Kind of my thought process was like, if I pick 10 bakery or year-round scents, and then I have 8 left over in my seasonal bucket, I can do 2 for each season. And that's 18. That was like the math I was kind of shooting for. So when I say top 2, that's kind of how I got to that situation. So like I said, Sparkling Magnolia and Starburst Sky. Once again, I do feel like those are kind of not necessarily just spring. Like I feel like they could be used at other times easily. And they're both beautiful. In the summer section, this might be shocking. I only picked one, and I picked Dumbo. So there's a lot of things in the summer section that I love, which maybe when we get to some of the things I'm not keeping, we can talk more about. But a lot of those things, like I was trying to think of scents that were not so specific that I never ever melt them. What I mean by that is like scents that are super like fruit specific, like not apple, but like watermelon, pineapple. I'm trying to think of some other scents, like even lemon. While that's not that specific and it feels like easily done, I either had scents that were like so specific that I don't feel like I ever melt them because they don't mix with things, so I don't reach for them. They're not versatile, if you will. Or they're so basic, like lemon. Like I could get lemon anywhere at any time. Is it my favorite lemon? Maybe not, but is it lemon doing the job? See where I'm going with that? So I'm sure I did fall last. So let's move on to winter. I had not that many in winter. I actually would say winter is maybe where I had the least amount of bars. Maybe fall, but some of the fall I kind of put in bakery because I'm like, I'm keeping these regardless. I don't know. The winter was kind of like a toss-up because there was like Christmas winter and post-Christmas winter, which I know to some people is like, whatever. But to me, they're kind of similar. So in my winter section, I had Mint to Be Merry and Homestead Holiday because those to me just felt like my top two. So then for fall, I was like, okay, well, I only picked one for summer, so I can pick 3 for fall because I'm trying to get to 8. So the top 3, I think I actually picked my top 2 because I was trying to be responsible. And I ended up picking Bright Cider Life and Walnut Raisin Muffin. I was trying to be just like, once again, really, really realistic. There's a lot of things in here I love, but like, be realistic. So those were the top 2 I picked. After that, I would have been at what, 16? So I knew I had some wiggle room. So then I started to kind of like throw in some extra things to think about. So I ended up also throwing in sweet plum pastry onto my list. I have it at the bottom because I do really like it and I feel like it's a really unique scent. But I also want to be cognizant, like I didn't pick it as my top 2. It's my 3rd, like in the fall section, I put it in the fall section and I have it as my top 3. So I did add it to the list for consideration. Some of the other things I added to the list was Cozy Kitchen because I had that in the bakery section. Oh crap, did I? I had it in the winter section, I think. No. I had it in the bakery section and I kind of skipped over it, I think. But I like was doing this and I looked over and saw the brick of it and was like, wait, where was Cozy Kitchen? I love this scent. So I ended up adding that under the seasonal category. It could have been bakery because obviously I had it in the bakery list, but whatever. I ended up moving that over. And then I also added whipped frosting and ginger cookie crunch, which are actually 2 new scents, which I hadn't tried when I added them on this list. So I kind of put them in a different color. Like I obviously need to try these first, but I really like them on Cold Sniff. I have since tried ginger cookie crunch, no spoilers, but like I really like it. So I think that will probably stay on the list. Whipped frosting, I obviously still need to try. So at that point, I was at 11 in the one category and 9. That'd be 18 exactly. So I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. And I think at the last, that's why I moved over sweet plum pastry as like that last number 18. So I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done. Like I did it. I did so great. And then all of a sudden, I don't know why it occurred to me. I obviously right now have last summer, like spring summer category. How do I say this? I have bars that were in the spring summer catalog from last year in my club right now. I don't obviously have any current bars available in my club right now. So I was like, oh crap, I should probably be accounting for those things. So I opened up my catalog, my current catalog, and I was scrolling through it to be like, are there bars in here that I feel like I would want to have in here, but I'm trying to stick to this specific number. So I was trying to go through those and I came across some. So one of them being cashmere and corduroy, which technically I would consider maybe in that perfume category. It's kind of like just that pretty bedroom scent. So I added cashmere and corduroy because I do feel like it's different enough that I can't just like go out and buy it, basically. And then I added vanilla amber to the list, which is currently in the catalog, but I also really like that scent. So what I kind of added these at the bottom and like not, they're in the count technically now, but I like left some space because I'm like, these are like extras. I just don't know how to classify these. So I'm kind of separating them since they're not technically in my club right now. But vanilla amber feels like one I would want. So I added that to the list. And then I don't even know how this did not occur to me, but candy cane buttercream. What was I thinking? So I made a note that I would want to do candy cane buttercream. And I actually made a note that I would probably do candy cane buttercream and swap out mint to be merry. Because to me, they're cousins. Like they're in that bakery mint category, but candy cane buttercream has vanilla bean buttercream as a base and it's candy cane. It's to me, it's better. So I'm like, I'm trying to get away from this duplicate mindset. So I'm like, I could easily swap those two. So to me, that's technically a swap. So I think at the end, if I count all of those things, even counting like the vanilla amber that's not in the club, cashmere corduroy, etc., the whipped frosting that I haven't officially tried yet, I'm at 21. So I'm feeling okay. Obviously I'm over 18, but like in the grand scheme of things, 70 to 21, even if it's 20, if I cut out whatever, 70 to 21, I cut out what, 49 bars. That's pretty good. So I feel like I should tell you some of the bars I'm considering kicking out, which feels like the most gut-wrenching part, but I obviously walked you through all my methodology of kind of how I got here. Some of the things obviously I just started by picking my favorites, so some of these things just like didn't make the cut in that aspect. But also I think something that just not occurred to me recently, but I just fully understood, because obviously I knew it, but like some of these bars are great, but I have candles that are the same scent. I could get something that's the same scent. There's so many new bars coming out every single year. And some of like, if I'm after a pine scent, there's going to be a future pine scent. Like, it's not like they're going to stop making Christmas tree scents all together in the future because I don't have this in my club anymore. Like, you see what I'm saying? So this was kind of my situation, is like, I'm trying to get out of the mindset of like, I'm never going to get it again. That's okay. There will be something else. I still have these other 20 that I do have more of. And kind of my thought process, like if I cut out all of this clutter, I'll have time and I'll be able to actually enjoy these bars that I put off warming because I'm trying to get through my less favorite stuff, saving my good favorite stuff for a special occasion or who knows what. And then I never get around to it. Or maybe somebody calls me and they want it and I'm like, well, I'm not warming it because I'm trying to get through my non-favorites. So then I pass it along to them. Like and then I'm mad because I didn't warm it. Like, I'm not doing myself any favors. So to me, I personally feel like if I have two favorites, like say I have 3 Bright Cider Lives when fall comes around because I've got them in my club all year, I can do one every week if I want to. And I don't have to feel guilty about it because it's not like I have 10 other club bars that I also need to melt. Plus everything seasonal or new releases, limited time offers, etc. So, and I feel like I'm maybe being a bit like over the top, but I really was like trying to be honest with myself. Like, it's not bad that you want to keep these. And it's also not bad to let them go. Like, life will go on. And it's not like you're canceling your club. It'll be okay. So let me walk you through some of the bars I ended up giving the cut, basically. I think I'm going to start with this perfume section because, I don't know, it's just like there's not very many in it. So lots of lavender was in there, which I really like. Lots of lavender. It's a very pretty scent, but once again, it didn't make the top cut. Pink leather, I really love it. Didn't make the cut. It almost did. I smelled that Sweet Plum Pastry and another scent as my like final three. And I added Sweet Plum Pastry. So pink leather is nice. I just don't think it's like, is it something I would want to warm over apple cherry strudel? Like I'm doing the apple cherry strudel test. Like which one wins? So anyway, and then the last one in the perfume category I had was Dashing. So I really love Dashing, but Dashing is literally the exact same as Mahogany Vanilla from Bath & Body Works. And I could just go get a Mahogany Vanilla. Like, I have Mahogany Vanillas. So to me, I'm like, I don't need to pay $6 every quarter to get a bar that I don't necessarily need to warm or maybe even want to warm, but I feel like I don't want to lose it, so I'm keeping it when I could just go out and buy it when I want it, or like burn the candle I have when I want to smell that scent. Like, I'm trying, that's the gist here. So there was that. Okay, let's talk about some winter things because it's winter right now. Woodland Meadow, which is in the summer catalog, but to me, it's like kind of universal. It's not necessarily summer, winter, like, I don't know. I think it is a wide range of scents. It almost could probably be in the perfume category. Really pretty. Just, it's not going to be my top pick. Like, it's just not going to be. So obviously didn't make it. NHL Fresh Ice. Once again, I had a bunch of mint scents, and the mint I ended up going with in the end was the candy cane buttercream. And like, am I gonna warm Fresh Ice over candy cane buttercream? No. I only had Fresh Ice in my club to begin with is because Corey wanted it. And I have like 8 bars of it. He'll forget it exists before we go through 8 bars. Like, I'm obviously gonna confirm with him before I remove it, but like, I have a lot of it. It'll be okay. Saint Nickerdoodle, I think I even said in my last club haul, like, I keep feeling like I could remove this and I don't. This one did not pass the apple cherry strudel test. Like, it's kind of a similar, it's like an apple bakery cookie vibe. Okay, great, but is it better than apple cherry strudel? No. So it failed. It didn't make it. Whiteout, another great winter mint. I have like 4 bars. It's not better than candy cane buttercream, and I have like 4 bars. Holly Jolly Cider, another really good one, but I think I have at least 2 bars and maybe 2 bricks, like a brick and a half. It'll get me through. I feel like this is a scent you can easily recreate in a candle. Like, yeah. I have Candy Apple Delight in here, which is a new bar I've never like actually melted. It's from that Signature Treats collection. So I'm like, okay, I've never melted it, but like based on my cold and everything, my cold sniffs and all this, I didn't include it. Creme de Menthe is another mint scent. We already know the mints. So technically Mint to Be Mary's on here. It's in yellow because I moved it over, but it's probably getting the boot. And then Palo Santo and Cinnamon. Pretty, but basic. I mean, it's basic. Let's just talk about the fall category. This is like the one I have like the most anxiety about. So let's just talk about it. First one on here is apple butter frosting. I know. I have this like deep rooted emotional connection to apple butter frosting, and it feels like gut wrenching, the thought of me taking it out, because it's not returned in a really long time. I mean, it's been gone for like at least a couple years. And it's a really pretty scent. This one, I was like, okay, but would I warm it over apple cherry strudel? Because some of these apple ones, like that's my test. I just really like apple cherry strudel is just such a good scent. So it's kind of my like baseline, right? If I'm not gonna pick it over it, then it doesn't count. So this one I'm like, would I pick it over it? Like I might, because it's really pretty. I just have to be honest with myself. Apple butter frosting has not been performing well for me. I love it, but when I do it, it doesn't perform. Okay, I just need to move on. The same story, this one's actually at the bottom of the list, but toasted apple butter. I'm actually warming it right now. It just doesn't perform. And I think it's just like the composition, it's more on the spicy apple side, more spice than anything. So it kind of just like, it's hard to detect, I think is the problem. It's not that it doesn't smell, but I think it's not standing out enough to me that I can't detect it. And that's what I don't like. Like if it, like apple cherry strudel is booming. I can smell it with every breath. If they were doing that, would I feel differently? Maybe. It's not that they're not pretty, but they're not doing enough for me. So those two are really in the same boat, honestly. So yeah, apple spice season, very similar to pumpkin apple from Bath & Body Works, which everybody does a scent like that. I love it. It's great. But I have 2 to 3 pumpkin apple candles. I have apple spice season bars. Like I could easily go to the store and just buy another in that same scent variety. I don't need to keep it. Apple and Oats is in my fall section. I have this one in red because I would love to keep it, but it just doesn't feel like a reality in here. Once again, it's an apple bakery. Is it like apple cherry strudel? No. But would I pick it over apple cherry strudel? No, I wouldn't. And then probably the one I'm the most not upset about, but like it's also in red, cranberry pumpkin spice. This is probably my favorite pumpkin scent, and I've had it in my club forever, like years. And because it's my favorite pumpkin, it's like the pumpkin I always go back to. That's why it's in red. This is the one that I'm probably like on the fence with the most, to be honest, because like it truly is my favorite pumpkin. I'm team apple more than I'm team pumpkin. So like pumpkin's not necessarily my wheelhouse to begin with. So I think that's partly why this is my favorite pumpkin, or like the pumpkin I get on the most with. So part of me is like, okay, I don't even really like pumpkin. I'm team apple. But then also part of me is like, this is the only pumpkin I really like. So it didn't technically make the cut, but it's the one on here that I'm like, I'm pretty sure once again though, I have like 3 bars. Part of me feels like I picked Walnut Raisin Muffin and Bright Cider Life as my top 2. Bright Cider Life I don't feel like can be recreated. Like until it is, I don't think I can get rid of it because it's so unique to me. It's a fave. Walnut Raisin Muffin is in the same kind of boat for me. It's simple, but I don't feel like I have anything else that compares. Part of me feels like if I want a pumpkin fix, I can get a pumpkin fix. There'll always be pumpkin in the catalog. I have plenty of pumpkin candles. Like, it's not like pumpkin's going away. So while they're not maybe cranberry pumpkin spice, and it's not my favorite, if I'm itching for pumpkin, I feel like it would be there. Or I could get some. That's kind of my thought process here. If you're like familiar with me and my channel and things I like, you might be thinking like, what about pumpkin cinnamon swirl? Same thing. Like, I have a pumpkin cinnamon bun candle from Bath & Body Works. I have pumpkin roll brick. Like, I don't think pumpkin cinnamon swirl is getting axed anytime soon. Hopefully it's not. But like, I have to imagine that and pumpkin roll are some of their best pumpkin sellers because they're in the bakery category. Like, Same situation. It's literally the same situation. Okay. Let's speed through spring and summer a bit faster here. So I have watermelon mint, strawberry swirl, honeymoon hideaway. That one was kind of a bummer, but it is what it is. Candy crave, coconut daiquiri, cutie pie cupcake. I put this in the spring and not the bakery. I just like don't find myself reaching for this. Like I would love to. I love it. I just don't see myself. Forever Yours, beautiful scent. Do I like it more than Sparkling Magnolia and Starburst Sky? Can't say I do. Blue Coconut Beach, Sherbet Lemon, and Blooming Marvelous. And Berry Bubble Blue. I like all these. I really do. But Sparkling Magnolia and Starburst Sky were my top two. And then I just like didn't really even look at the rest of the list after that. I was like, these are my two faves. Like these are the two I'm picking. Clearly everything else I like less. Simple. It's easy to say that when it's on a spreadsheet and I'm not clicking buttons. So for summer, I had 11 bars and I ended up only picking Dumbo. Dumbo is my first scent I ever warmed with Scentsy, and I have just a very scent memory attached to it. Like it makes me very nostalgic. It just like kind of brings back that scent memory. So I love it. I mean, it also is very unique to me personally. I don't feel like I have anything that kind of recreates it. But just the scent memory alone is worth it. So Dumbo was my only summer scent. I had in there Glacier Water, which is kind of not really a summer scent. It was an August end of the month, same as Pink Leather. So it's kind of on that cusp of like, not really in a season. Pretty, didn't make it. Havana Cabana, Lemon Sorbet, Pina Colada Cha-Cha. I know, I love Pina Colada Cha-Cha, and it didn't make this list. And let me tell you why. Pina Colada Cha-Cha is probably a top seller. If it doesn't come back, it doesn't come back, whatever. That's a whole different story. If it does come back, I can just buy it. I don't think the concept of Pina Colada Pineapple Coconut is widely liked. So I don't think that that's not going to exist going forward. Like, maybe it's not in the form of Pina Colada Cha-Cha, but can I go somewhere and find a pineapple coconut scent if I need one? I'm sure I could. So for that reason, it didn't make the cut. Suncastles, Tangerine Creamsicle, Coconut Citrus Parfait, Wild Watermelon, Pineapple Mint, Summer Holiday. Yeah. Some of those I was like, I think honestly going into it the way I did, starting with picking the scents I loved the most that stood out and pulling them out, made the rest of them a bit easier. I never went through the bakery category. Let's talk about bakery. This is the most kind of like disheartening a bit. The first one I have on the list that I didn't pick in the bakery category is sugar, which breaks my heart, but also like, do I like sugar more than I like happy birthday? And when I say happy birthday, I'm talking happy birthday and birthday wishes, because I have both of those bars. And yes, they're two different bars, but to me, they're very similar bars. I mean, they're my top two favorites. Like, in all honesty, if I just had those, I would probably be very happy. So when I say happy birthday, I'm just trying to make it easy because people are more familiar with that one. I mean both of those bars, birthday wishes and happy birthday. I probably wouldn't pick sugar over those, even though sugar is lovely. I feel like sugar is also very popular, so I could see it potentially coming back for a Bring Back My Bar at some point. Like, I do feel like it has a fan base. Am I going to die without it? No. Toffee Butter Crunch, also good. Also think I have 4 bars of that. Churro. This one makes me sad. Part of me, did I smell? No. I pulled out something with sweet plum pastry and the pink leather, and I don't think it was churro because I don't think I have a bar of churro. This is another good one. I do really like it, but I just don't like, once again with the apple butter frosting, it doesn't perform entirely well. So we're just going to leave it at that. You guys already know. Vanilla walnut is a really nice basic vanilla, but I don't need basic vanillas. I can go to Walmart and get a basic vanilla if I'm in the fix for a basic vanilla. Like, I'm trying to change my mindset here. Frosted cinnamon roll, really nice, but I have a large jar and a medium jar of Country Candle cinnamon buns. Do you know how long those things last? I don't need frosted cinnamon roll. Some of these I haven't tried, so they're on here, but I obviously haven't tried them. Eggnog, which smells really, really pretty. I really want to melt that one soon, but part of me is like, unless it's a stunner, like, it's probably not going to make it. Mickey Mouse Cinnamon Bun Bash, once again, smells really sweet. Once again, 2 candles of cinnamon bun alone. That's not counting any of the other things I have. Okay. Churroso Sweet, which is also from that Signature Treats collection. This one was kind of controversial. I see both sides. I see how it smells like a churro. Because I think, like, you know, I see it. I see both sides. If you haven't seen people talking about this one, I don't want to ruin it for you. But some people feel like it smells a little zesty. Maybe. I'll just say that. And then, like, I kind of see the churro side too. I see both sides. If I smell the top of the bar, if I smell the bottom of the bar, I get both of them. I haven't melted it though. So I want to melt it to kind of get more of that feeling. But I just got a Kringle order in today with a churro scent. I have at least another churro candle from Homeworks. Like, if I want a churro scent, I should just go to the store and buy a churro and eat it. I'm trying to be so strict with myself here. Like, girl, be for real. What are you talking about? Okay, moving on. Breakfast blend, which is like a coffee kind of scent, and toasted caramel sugar were the last 2. I feel like the whipped frosting could potentially, like, be the toasted caramel sugar, maybe in just a slightly better way. Obviously, I haven't melted it. The breakfast blend, I prefer, I think, my coffee scents in candles. Like, melting wax for a coffee scent is like, let me turn on the warmer for the morning and turn it off, which I do, and it's fine. But it's not something that I'm like, let me put this whole bar around my house. And it's also not like, let me just light up this candle and in 2 hours I can put it out. So that's my situation with my Scentsy Club. I'm so glad you could come on this journey with me. I would love to know your thoughts down below. And I do apologize. This is a kind of long video, but I just wanted to kind of talk through some of the things I've been thinking about, talk through everything, just because, one, it obviously helps me personally, but I hope it helps you if you're kind of in the same struggling boat of just like getting over the hurdle that it's going to be okay. Like, I know this is so first world problems, and at the end, it really all doesn't matter. But like, being upset about this and just ignoring it isn't helping when I feel overwhelmed by my wax stash. Like, it's just feeding into that. So like, if I can help myself here, then I can start to tackle that. Like, I can start to overcome these things. I don't have to just like ignore the problems and then hope they go away. And it's going to save me some money. Let's not gloss over that. It's going to save me some money. So yeah, thanks so much for coming. I feel like I get into kind of these little like, I'm so overwhelmed moments. This isn't the first one of these I've done on my channel by any means. So if you're not new to them, welcome back. But I know people can relate because we all get into this, like, it's easy to add things and then they start to pile up and then it's really hard to part with them. So this is kind of my, like, I've really been wanting to do this and I just didn't know how or where to start. And I kind of just tipped over the edge and was like, I'm going to do it all. So I want to put this out there. I want to kind of get some feedback or like share it with you guys, see what you think before I actually start clicking buttons. My club doesn't ship until, or I think it processes on the 4th of January. So I have a little bit of time that I can play around with some things still. So I'm not like too nervous yet. I'm sure once I go to actually click some buttons, I'll be a little bit nervous, but it'll be fine. So yeah, that's what I have going. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.